We've all seen a film with a heat haze effect. Think Bad Boys, or Transformers, maybe even The Little Mermaid. And it looks good, the heat haze, not the mermaid. Probably best to try to do it in camera, but here at Produce I thought, how can I make Nick have a bit more work? So we decided to show you how to do it in post. Check out how rad I look.
Yeah, cheers, Arlo. Look, this is an effect that took me quite a while to get my head around how to do, but this is how I made the heat haze happen.
Create a new comp by dragging your footage onto the new composition icon and call it heat haze. Create a new layer and call it fractal layer. Make sure it's the same size as the comp, and I'm going to make it a dark grey. Apply a fractal noise effect from noise and grain. We're going to use this layer as our displacement layer to make the wavering, blurry look you see in a heat haze. So in the fractal noise settings, we want to make a few adjustments. We're going to set the fractal type to strings, the noise type to spline, boost the contrast to about 150, and pull the brightness down to about -5. And we're going to scale it all back to about 18%. Now we're going to change the complexity to 1. Now we want to make an expression to make the fractal noise effect evolve over time. So I'll click the evolution stopwatch and create an expression times multiplied by 150. Drop the fractal layer underneath the shot of Arlo walking. We want to mask out a section of the fractal layer where we don't want the haze to appear. So firstly, pre-compose the fractal layer, moving all attributes into the new composition. Then create a new black solid and mask out the area you don't want the haze appearing in. Feather the edges to taste. Back in the main comp, we turn off the visibility of the fractal layer, as it is only being used for the displacement map. Now we want to apply the displacement effect to the Arlo walks layer. So choose the Arlo layer and select Effects, Distort, Displacement Map. Change the displacement map layer to the fractal layer. Change the settings for both horizontal and vertical to luminance, and set the horizontal distance to 1.5 and the vertical to about 0.5. Check the wrap pixels around box to ensure that your effect works right to the edge. Preview that, not looking too bad. Now we want to make the reflections. Duplicate the top layer and change its name to reflection and mask out the area that you want to reflect. I'm going to use a cityscape and these fence posts. So solo the layer to see the mask that you've created. Maybe soften the edges a bit. I'm also going to do a quick tracking mask around Arlo walking, so he's not as affected by the heat haze as the rest of the image. So select the reflection layer and draw an ellipse mask around and feather the edges. And set a keyframe for the mask path at the start of the sequence. Move to the end and set another keyframe by moving the mask position. Change it to subtract. We've turned on the 3D checkbox for the layer already. So now we want to turn the solo layer off and flip it upside down and line it up. We want to change the y-axis scale to -100. On the x-axis of the rotation setting, skew the layer to about 315. Now apply a bezier warp to tweak the reflection layer to make it sit a little bit better into the curve of this image. Change the blend mode to color dodge and drop the opacity down to about 23-24%. Now I'm going to boost the horizontal and vertical displacements to about 2 each. Let's preview that. So it's looking pretty good. Now let's just color correct it. Pre-compose the 3 layers and rename it Color Corrected Heat Haze. I want to go for a Michael Bay type reddish grey. So I'm going to apply a curves filter, push up the reds and the greens and suck out some of the blues. On the RGB line, make an S-bend to put in some contrast. Now I'm going to apply a tritone filter. I'm going to leave the highlights white. I'm going to change the midtones to a red. And the black stay black. Change the blending to about 80%. And that's it. Arlo walking through the heat haze. Looks pretty good.